Hey everybody, Rhadamant here. Thanks for tuning in to Stellaris Wendigos episode 20, which originally aired live on Twitch. Let's get started. So, the briefest of recaps coming at you. We have unlocked pretty much all the endgame tech. We have our ring world systems getting built over here at Iskander Boss. Ring World Section D is still waiting to be done. Oh, it's a Tusky.
Come here, Tusky.
So the Ring World section is still waiting to be done so that we can colonize it, but 3/4 of the other ones are done, allowing us to expand our population. It has pushed up our Empire Sprawl, but we're so far ahead of the game. In fact, we're so far ahead of the game that my score is higher than that of the Fallen Ancients. So if the game ended right now, I would win. That's domination right there. I don't even need to beat the big dudes because I'm bigger than the big dudes, which is interesting. I didn't know that. What else is going on? So we've got, let me collapse this. We've got the Starship and the Mega Fleets. We have two giant Mega Fleets sitting here with our Dreadnought and and at the end of last episode we did sort of like a side-by-side comparison of all the ships, and basically the Dreadnought, the Mothership, the Juggernaut, and the Colossus are all roughly the same size. They're all of the same class. So we have been more or less stomping out all of the opposition. So if we take a look at the map mode here, green is me, and I own a ridiculous amount of territory. One of the things I wanted to do with some of that territory, though, is gift it out if I want to get rid of my Empire Sprawl. Or I could just keep it. It doesn't really matter. Because ultimately, we are so big, I don't see that our slowing down of a research rate will matter very much. We do have some additional enemies left on the map. We've got Corinth Union, we've got the Zanami Partnership, the Mercantile Guild, the Imrathorian, or whatever they're called, and the Izkai Star Hierarchy. And they're basically all that's standing in our way of controlling the entire universe, short of the Fallen Ancients, the Dormant Ancients. That are dormant for now, but they won't be for long. So, let's unpause, but slowly, you know? Oh, I don't mean to play in-game music. And what I'm going to be doing is just trying to get up to speed, and then I'll have you all vote on where I'm going, what I'm doing, that kind of thing. Last stream, we did vote that I was going to champion swarming missiles and carrier ships. So a lot of our dreadnoughts, or a lot of our battleships, excuse me, have been redesigned as such, you know, to be carriers. To be fair, carrier ships are not good, to put it bluntly. They're not great, but they'll suffice. They will suffice. So if we take a look at the ship designer here, our battleships have all of the carrier cores, as do cruisers and the destroyers. They all have the swarming missiles, the whirlwind missiles. I could do torpedoes, but swarming missiles seem to be fun. So we're probably not going to significantly change the ship design unless I get special unlocked weapons. Now we might get specially unlocked weapons if we go fight the Fallen Empires, the what are they called? Scanary Ancients or the Raltec Watchers. But chances are I'm going to pick fights with someone else. Chances are we are likely to take over the non-ancients first. So let me get off this map mode, and I'm going to write their names down, and you guys can vote the early arrivals. Who do I go to war with? So we've got the Corinth Union. I'm just going to call them Corinth. We've got the Imutharan. We've got the Zanami Partnership. I'm not really sure how the Zanami Partnership relates to the Zanami, whatever the Holy Empire that was near me. If it's like a rebel, if it's a coincidence or whatever. I actually did not keep track of that. if they relate to one another, but it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, they get destroyed, so we'll get going on that. We did just most recently wipe out the last of the Marauder groups. So I am claiming Snatch for myself and probably the rest of it, because I in no way am I going to give that to any of my opponents. Forget that noise. Looking at my budget, oh boy, I have so much money and minerals that my accounts are maxed. We did have some mega structures being built. So we have the mega shipyard, and then I did have, where was it? It was the... Did we vote on what other mega structures I was going to build? Because I do have the... I do have the ring world that's done. But then the question was, were we going to do like science or Dyson Sphere or whatever? I guess the Hatback Dyson Sphere is still being built. It's still partial, so I guess that's the other project to remind myself of. All right, the Exile is not going to join the leader pool because
construction venture completed.
No. And we are just claiming all the territory that we're fighting for ourselves, because there's no way I'm going to give it to allies. Yeah, I'm just showcasing all of them. Yeah, I mean, I'll probably end up showcasing all of them. It's just I can only work on 2 at a time, and right now I have my Ring World and my Dyson Sphere being built, so I'm not going to be doing more than that, you know, as a limitation. Necrophyte shortages at Fuzzatron Prime. Interesting. So if I take a look at Fuzzatron Prime, I haven't actually managed my population in a while. We were having sort of overpopulation of workers, and that was a bit of a problem. And then I started colonizing the ring worlds. Okay, Fuzzatron. Let's get the Ascension, switch it out to the auto-curating vault, so that is less of an issue. Oh, that wasn't Fuzzatron. This is Fuzzatron. Replace with the, I guess, alloys. Okay. It looks like the Imithron is who you want me to go to war with. So let's get our fleets in position to be able to do that. I will probably melee. What I'm going to be doing is melee, and which is the mothership, and not the Juggernaut, the Dreadnought are just going to sit in terminal egress, because they'll be able to respond to combat situations faster if they just sit in egress here. And I'm totally okay with them just saying idle. It's not that they're benched or anything, it's just they don't deploy quickly. Alright, so the other issue is trying to get my ships close to the border with Imuthron, or whatever they're called, is a bit annoying because I have a lot of locked territory. And then, let's see. Dragon Mark 1, the Colossus is going to go over here. And then my Juggernaut should go over here. We will get in position. I do own a huge swath of the galaxy, which is kind of fun. But we do have to throw our weight around a bit, because there's most certainly plenty of other factions that think they have a chance. Who are they allied with? Let's see. That's a good question. They are in a federation with Izki-Star and Omni Assimilators. So the Omni Assimilators are whom? Oh, just some nobody in the back end of nowhere. Okay. Cool. That's not going to be much of an issue. My science leader, Latin Deer, died at 297. Ripe old age. Let's find someone to replace him, and then, of course, you know how all this works. I need to get my giveaway up. I didn't have my giveaway screen, so anyone that has been typing is not currently eligible. So if you want a scientist named after you, I don't even care if it's a duplicate name at this point. Just go ahead and type something. So that leader will be renamed in... 279, not 297. That leader will be renamed soon. Okay, we are getting in position. One of my edicts expired, a fear campaign. Well, unfortunately for everybody, I can afford to reenact the fear campaign. We're doing the infinitely repeatable diminishing return research like the shields and energy and all that. We are mostly kinetics and carriers, so I'm not going to bother with the energy weapons, but I am very curious about what the end-game crisis will be, because we are not there yet, and I really thought we would have been there by now. We did find some Zro. Ooh, that's very nice. Do I have an income of Zro? I do. I have 4 already, so that's nice, but not life-changing. Not that Zro really matters to me. It's more of a spiritualist material. Okay. So one fleet is in position. They're actually not in position. I do have to jump. So I'm going to... They're going to have to jump twice, in fact. Because Corinth Union has their borders close to me. The other fleet is still in transit, so that's fine. This is going to take a minute. Just going to take a minute. So the Master's Teachings, we will re-acquire that. And that there is an edict where we get a little bit more societal research. Something that we barely really need, but doesn't hurt. I just maxed out on minerals. Oops, should have done that. Minerals and energy credits. Yeah, our economy is very strong. Okay, ring section is about a year away from being done. I'll try to keep an eye on that. All right, Epic Marcus. You were being escorted by Evil Lucky. Okay, yep, there you are. One hop away. Why is my Juggernaut slow? That's weird. I am not sure about that. And then Waffle Cheese Fortress is almost in position too. So we're almost ready to go to war. Let's research better armors. Yeah, it's funny how there's a Galactic UN and you're like, dude, you don't exist. Like, I don't know what to tell you, but you're of no consequence here, Mr. UN. I mean, look what I do to the enemy fleets. They disappear. And quite quickly at that. Alright, so Waffle is in position. My Colossus is far behind now. My Colossus is taking a minute. We can start the war without the Colossus because the Colossus really only attacks planets and not fleets or systems or anything like that. So it also seems to me that my fleets are not fully reinforced, as they're not full, but at this point I don't really care. Like, we're strong enough that we don't even need a full fleet. So, Imatharan, guess what? I'm declaring war of a total war with my Colossus. And I'm coming in. Alright, let's get the fleets moving. I'm just going to be... going to their worlds as a priority. And then I'll be having the secondary ships sort of sweep up the area. So, Waffle Fortress is capping quick. Now, I am at war with Izki and Omni. So this is why I sent a fleet to Izki over here. And Omni's down here as a sort of divide and conquer scenario. And a Colossus War is a war that doesn't really end unless there's too much war fatigue. So it's one of these that I'm going to be able to fight for as long as I really want, which is interesting. Or almost as long as I want. But yeah, the enemies don't have much in the way of fleets. That is for sure. Let's do a quick assessment of our ring worlds. So our ring worlds don't have a lot of population. One way to populate them quickly would be cloning vats. So the first building I'm going to put on these ring worlds are cloning vats, and that will increase the population growth. Another thing that I have to check is the species rights. So the species rights have population controls on the slave class, and I'm going to release the population controls, allowing them to procreate, which will give me a lot more populace to work in those ring worlds, because otherwise those ring worlds are not going to have workers. Calling them workers is kind of wrong. Slaves is honestly what they are. We are just zone hopping. It is not looking great. Now, they do have some fleets, like the Omni Assimilators sent a fleet out here that is going to cap some stuff. So it is a bit of a game of cat and mouse, but it's not Tom and Jerry. This does not end well for Jerry. It only ends well for Tom, and I am the Tomcat. So, but that's definitely one of the more annoying aspects is the cat and mouse like fighting that can sometimes happen late game, where they're just like zone hopping to annoy you, because it's happening right here at Ilix. It's like, you don't stand a chance, you're just being annoying. But you know, whatever. They have the right to try to fight, I suppose. And then all the stations that I'm capping on the way there, I don't want to add to my Empire Sprawl, so I'm just going to be breaking them down. So this here is a world that will need a Colossus eventually. Another thing that happened last stream is that
A spaceport has been set.
there was like fleets getting manufactured out of nowhere, which was strange. Okay, so our last ring world is done. Let's get some names for the scientist. The scientist will be Sylvanti. Nice. So leader, you are now Sylvanti. And then the last ring world, when it colonizes, will get another name. Or we'll get a name now. Let's do that. The Tiblix. Tiblix 8. Hey, Yoda, look alive. You're on camera, buddy. Yoda. I think he knows that there's a camera there, because my god, does he ever ignore it like it's his job. So the hatback is underway. The next thing I could build, the next megastructure, so let's put that down. We've got the Sentry Array, and I'll have you all vote on this as well. The Sentry Array site, the science. So the Sentry Array would show me the entire map revealed, basically. The Science Nexus would give me science. The Matter Decompression would give me minerals. The Strategic Coordination site would increase my fleet capabilities. I'm just gonna call it Strategic site. The Mega Art would do influence or culture, rather. Unity, whatever it's called. The Interstellar Assembly site, I'm going to leave out because it's for diplomatic affairs, and I have no need of that. There is nothing diplomatic about how I play. So, next megastructure. Up to you guys. Okay, waffle cheese looks idle. Let's go ahead and jump into Sigi to try to disrupt that fleet that is messing with me. The Colossus. What is the Colossus doing? The Colossus here should probably start hopping south or down or whatever.
A spaceport has been lost to the other side.
A spaceport was lost to the other side. No. Oh, the Sigi? Oh, I don't care about that. All right. Epic Marcus is going to start to head to the special project site so I can finish off the species thing, the mission that I have. And their fleet just disappeared. I don't know where it went. So it looks like there's a bit of a tie between Sentry Array and Science Nexus. I'm going to leave it up a little bit longer, but I could do a runoff of those two choices and have you guys clearly pick one or the other. Okay, the Omni Assimilators are going to be really easy to defeat because they have one planet, so let's go after them first. I think the Omni Assimilators is a result of an AI uprising, where a planet with enough AI robots decided, you know what, we aren't slaves anymore, and they pretended like they could be a nation in my galaxy. So we all know exactly how that's going to end. It's not going to end well for them, but they had their fun in the sun, so to speak. All right, Sentry Array is pulling out ahead with very, very few votes, but that's because there's just not too many fans of the old Stellaris. Oh, they, that's funny. They took Sinach, the brand new sector that I just grabbed from defeating the Marauders, so I'm going to have to obviously take that back. They don't get to keep that. My resources are full. I've just been rolling them into alloys. So yeah, the Sentry looks like that will be a winner. So let's go ahead and build the Sentry site. I'll build it on that moon or planet or whatever it is. All right, it looks like the Omni are now no more. And then I'm going to quickly get Sinach back. I don't take too kindly of my enemies taking territory from me. But one thing I could do is send my scientist hopping to get the swarm thing over here. All right, let's get this down. The array is going to be built. All of these alerts up here is just enemies declaring my territory as their own. They're just mad and jealous. A mix of both. And I'm not going to allow them to keep anything. I mean, they'd have to fight for it, so. Wow, Wendigo Prime just converted a whole lot of pop. Now that I've released the pop cap, I have to keep a very close eye on my planets because they're no longer no longer basically stable. They're kind of in flux as a result of the pop controls being lifted. So I'm gonna have to do a lot more management of primary worlds. My Colossus is just like, there's not a lot of worlds that I'm conquering down here yet, because I kind of went the wrong way. So let's have this Colossus start jumping to where they could be useful. Not well planned.
Steering clear of belligerents.
Alright, so my scientist is collecting the last of the insidious swarm, and that will be species 7 out of 7. It's basically not going to give me anything, or not much. I mean, it will give me stuff, but not in fair relation to the size of my empire. Normally you get those species collection missions early on, and for whatever reason, I got it really late in the game, so there's very little benefit to me now, but it's just something to do. So they have a 14k fleet bullying my constructor, which is annoying, but I'll be crushing that any moment now. Yeah, here it goes. Yep, it's done. We'll actually watch this one out. You engage them. I'm gonna slow down time a little bit so you can see all of the all my strike ships as they swarm and crash against the enemy fleet. There is a lot of lasers.
Steering clear of belligerents.
All right, Waffle, how are you doing? You are gonna start working your way up. And my Colossus is getting ready to blow up the Omni Assimilator homeworld at Teneb. That's where they're headed, at least. All right, Epic Marcus is cleaning up all the things that I've recently lost to enemy fleets. And I've conquered most of the shipyards up north, so I don't think I'm going to be back-capped that easily. Yep.
A special project is complete.
All right, that was all of the species secured. I got a little bit of influence, a little bit of societal research, a little bit of energy, and a little bit of unity. Yep. It really doesn't amount to much. It's more of just you finally did it. You cleared it off your plate. So if I scroll down here and take a look at this construction ship was working on the array and my star bases. So now you'll start to see what happens when your pop cap is taken off. A lot of my worlds here have unemployment, and it's just because I started to allow the slave class to breed. It's a weird way of putting it, but it's true. And the planets that I started with don't have a lot of capacity for additional, slave employment. So I'm having to move people around. Fen, Habanis. But I'm not just moving one or two. I'm moving a bulk, so I don't have to continually do this. So then I stuck a bunch of these slaves on the Ryan Rawl planet here, and I'm gonna give them employment. I actually am not sure what they could do, because the commercial segment, I think they can only work at the agricultural segment. But whatever, I'll build one agricultural segment and put them all to work. I guess what that could allow me to do is to free up all my original worlds that aren't these ring worlds, and make my original worlds that were agri worlds into something else. But at this point, my economy is so strong that, I don't really need to do that, if I'm being honest. I could fight the whole galaxy. I don't need to keep getting stronger. At some point, when you're I'm sort of the galactic version of One Punch Man, right? I'm just so strong that, getting stronger doesn't even make sense, because, everything dies with a punch. Now, I do think that if there was the worlds collide with the Sonuri Ancients and the Raltec Warriors both teaming up against me, that could pose a bit of a challenge, but probably not a fatal one. The Endgame Crisis could pose a challenge, but again, probably not a fatal one. you know, I am what you would call too big to fail at this point. Yeah, I know. Rising unemployment, blah, 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 blah. I'm working on it. If you remember correctly, you can pop cap individual worlds. Yes, you can. You can do decisions and declare population controls. It does lower the stability. But because I have all these ring worlds that have a massive amount of housing, I might as well not declare population controls and just actually let the planets populate and then move the people around to worlds that can support them. It does make me, you know, it's more micromanagement, but it's the proper way to play. I did have some YouTube comments of people complaining that I wasn't like truly min-maxing in this series. Like I wasn't colonizing every single world that I came across. And it's like, but do we need to? Because I really don't. I would go so far as to say we don't really need to colonize everything. We're kind of the alpha and omega, but I don't know. It depends on how you want to play. If you like to crush your enemies into sand, yeah, I mean, I guess I get it in a way. But yeah, if it becomes unmanageable where the pop controls are just unreasonable, I could always, all right, let me enact stability with martial law, distribute luxury goods, and that should help with some of the crime and instability.
A new colony has been propagated.
Okay, so Tiblix is now colonized, and we are going to get the cloning vats here as well. All right, bye-bye, Tinab. We're gonna crack your world. This scientist will go to Chor's Compass, I guess. That's like the last place I haven't explored. Mostly because I haven't needed to. So at this point, I do have like maximum resources up here, but I don't really need anything. Like I just am ridiculously wealthy in all sorts of resources. So I will be at capacity, and there's not much I'm going to do about that. I just want to make it clear. And good day, Tipsy. Cheers and welcome. God, my juggernaut is slow.
A study has been completed.
Study's been completed. Shield harmonics. Let's do shield harmonics again. And then the other one, let's do strikecraft attack speed. Trying to get my strikecrafts good and strong. So if you look at the diplomatic mode, I am green. As you can see, green has significantly expanded in this war already. And red is what is left of my enemies. Not much. Not much. It will take me a little while to world crack the enemies that need world cracking. But I'm patient. Alright, Epic Marcus. Let's keep capping. Waffle. Yeah, they do have a lot of populated worlds, and in fact, there's a bunch of habitats. Oh, actually, let me jump to Arella. There's a bunch of habitats here, so I bet they're trying to do the bunny rabbit approach of like, we are going to out populate you so that you can't exterminate us. We're just going to like spread our little bunny rabbit virus across, or not virus, but you know what I mean. Is the Mystery Science Station still holding up? Yes, it is. It is right here. Mystery Science Station. Doesn't pose much of a purpose anymore, as we are sort of beyond the need for individual stations, but you done did well when you did. So the Omni assimilators are about to be unassimilated. We're one world cracker away from popping their last world. And this was a planet of, nothing like being run by corrupt drones. Good government, guys. Good government. This was an AI uprising world that rebelled. The Hatback Dyson Sphere is done entirely. This also means that now that that is done, I could do another megastructure. So that is up to you. I got it all down. Just let me know what you want me to build. Yeah, we are just making ridiculous money. I couldn't even spend it even if I wanted to, because I'm almost at my fleet naval capacity. I'm at my admin, sprawl. There's nothing to spend it on. Just conquering. That's all that's left. And waiting for the endgame crisis to kick up. Hey, 9 out of 9. Thanks for the sub. End of the Omni assimilators. They shall be remembered. Doubt it. All right, Dragon. We are going to hop over to Orella and start to do what you did to Tinab over to Orella. And now it's just a partially habitable orbital habitat. That's all that's left. Because that is what we do. Rip and tear until it's done. How do you even get into this game? Is there a guide or a build guide or something? Sure. I actually have maybe 6 or 7 YouTube series on this. Every time there's a major update, I usually do a series. Now, individually, those series aren't a complete guide, but like you can also ask me at the start of this series, which is on YouTube, by the way, the Stellaris Wendigos series. At the start of this series, I do explain a lot. So if you do have questions about how to play, oops, that's not what I meant to do. You can always ask or watch the YouTube series, because the YouTube series, I do cover probably 90% of what you need. It is a very, very in-depth game, and the tutorials are pretty incomplete, so it can be, I appreciate how tricky it can be to try to like learn this game, because they don't make it easy. I lost, Joint. You just died, buddy. I'm gonna replace you. So, again, if you'd like to be my next, engineering scientist, all you gotta do is type something in the chat, and you could be replacing Landman. Landman, the Wendigo.
Construction venture completed.
So, construction venture completed. Oh, that reminds me. So this little construction ship up here is just building stuff. Is just building stuff. So what I'm going to do, let's go to my megastructure and pump out another construction ship, because we are going to make a science nexus now. That was the conclusion. All right, Ryan, you've got lots of free jobs. Yeah, look at the stability now in the crime. Basically none and nil. That worked out well. If we want to make it even more stable, the second buildings of these new ring worlds should probably be strongholds or some sort of political, some sort of like precinct housing to lower crime rate. But the crime rate's actually not that bad. Instead, alternatively, we could just try to keep the slaves happy with holo theaters. So let me do that. It does look like some of my other worlds are building. So I'm going to make Names McLovin my commercial ring world, and then I'm going to make the 123 my research ring world. Tiblix will be Probably another food ring world. I'm not sure. I have to decide. And in just a minute here, I will roll off for that name. Okay, what are my fleets doing? Marcus is blowing stuff up. Cool. This construction ship is heading over here and building. This science ship is serving chore. Waffle is going to jump to some of the worlds to blow up. What about you? You are okay. My Colossus is getting ready to crack a world. Again, if you have any specific questions for me about Stellaris, feel free to ask. I'm happy to just field whatever questions you have. How many hours do I have in this game? Just shy of 1,000. So I've logged some time. Just a few hours here and there. Yep. Just shy of 1,000. That's a lot of time. The game's been out since like 2013 or something. When did it start? Or something like that. 2016, I think, actually. Yeah, May 9th, 2016. So I've had 5 years almost to build up that kind of playtime. And I've played a lot of multiplayer campaigns with friends and stuff, even before I was a YouTuber, a Twitch streamer. That accounts for a lot of the time. All right, Epic Marcus, I sense you are not crushing. Let's get you crushing. How many hours? Like 911 actually. That's just almost 911. 911 hours. All right. Pops have been necrophaged a dozen donut. So far I don't see that we have homelessness, so that's good. Now I know I have some unemployed people here and there, but I'm gonna wait until the unemployment goes up a little bit because small numbers of unemployment doesn't really concern me.
A system survey has concluded.
Yeah, 1,000 hours, especially in a game this complicated, doesn't mean that much. You're right. There is a lot of stuff I don't really know off the top of my head about this game, and also one of the other challenges is which is interesting about Stellaris. It has gone through a pretty incredible amount of significant fundamental game changes since it first came out. Where like a lot of they're not they aren't shy about redesigning entire systems. So the way you build on planets, for instance, used to be entirely different. Yeah, it is such a different game from version 1.0. So a lot of the, my first 500 hours or 700 hours of Stellaris or whatever, it's not even the same game. And that's not a complaint. It's actually a compliment. They've really revamped. So they'll take a look and they'll be like, you know what isn't working for us? Like planetary building. Let's redesign that system. Or you know what is not working for us, like endgame fleet combat. Let's redesign that system. So for instance, really early on in Stellaris, there was no concept of fleet max. There was naval capacity, but there was no fleet max. And as a result, you could have every single one of your ships in the entire galaxy in one giant stack. And it was basically just like a game of Risk where you just piled up all your troops or all your navy into one big blob, and it was just giant blobs blobbing on each other. It was pretty terrible. Now you have this concept of, fleet size, maximum fleet size, so that you don't have like death blobs. Now, with that said, my fleet compared to all the fleets in the galaxy is a death blob, but that's only because I out-tech them all. If there was just a multiplayer game, it wouldn't have been that much of an issue because humans would be better than the AI are. Ultimately, the AI are pretty garbage. And this is one of those games. Let me try to. What would be a game like this? But I think the games like the Civilization games, for instance, where when you ramp up the difficulty in Civilization, the bots don't get smarter; they just cheat. You know what I mean? And that's the problem with Stellaris is like, to some degree or another, when you increase the difficulty in Stellaris, they don't get smarter about the decisions they make. They just cheat. They just tip the scales. They're just like, oh, we're gonna have a bunch of free fleet capacity because, and stuff like that. That's basically that would be my only complaint of Stellaris's difficulty scaling. Is it's not. All right, so the start of the Century Array is now done. That construction ship I built. That wrong one. All right, so here's my Century Array site, and I'm going to upgrade it. And then you all voted on the science, I believe. And let's see about that. Let me build a science nexus. I can't build one here, so I'll go to another system. I'll go to Shallow Gene Pool system. If we take a look at the map here, the holdouts are an ever-shrinking pocket of nobody here. Okay, there we go. Another planet blown up. Vrol Protred, or whatever it's called. Where are we going? We're going to Rink next.
Construction venture completed.
Yeah, let's annex this. Why not? I'll leave on this map mode so you can more easily see what is left of this war, because I am very quickly just smoking through their territory. But for anyone that's new to Stellaris, this is pretty late game. I've got extraordinarily late game fleets. This is not what early game would look like. So all I'm doing is just no. All I'm doing is just jumping from system to system, and if the system has inhabited worlds, I'm waiting for my Colossus to wipe them out. If you're curious about a Colossus is just a ship. It's a Death Star. It's effectively just a Death Star. And then if they don't have worlds, I just capture them immediately. So let's run that giveaway. And Diamond, you are now the proud owner of Landmen, I think it was named. Yep. Our new engineering researcher. An important role to be sure. I'm sure there will be more to be named. What just expired? Nanite actuators? Where is that? Here it is.
Construction venture completed.
You were lurking. What did you win? You won the engineer researcher. Uh-oh. That's not good. Okay, glad I caught that. So what's going on here is I've had my Colossus going from system to system. Oh boy, my Colossus is not going to fare well. Don't blow him up. There we go. Yes. Ha. All right, so I had my Colossus jumping from system to system, blowing up, everything. And what ended up happening is they sent a significant fleet to try to blow up my Colossus. So I jumped my fleet in to intervene, and they got there just in time, and the enemies retreated the moment I got there. Because that's how we do it. Yeah, the cavalry arrived, and what was funny about that is their fleet literally did like an oh crap and just left. They just retreated outright. They were trying to pull a sneaky and got caught. Their hand in the jar. But it has left that Colossus pretty damaged, the Dragon Mark 1 Colossus. So when I am taking over, when I'm blowing up Izek over here, I'm going to have Dragon Mark 1 Colossus repair at the station at Izek Station here, the shipyard, before continuing on. Because I definitely don't want to lose my Colossus. But the beauty of the jump drives is nothing is too far away. It's only one hop away most of the time. Do I have the Colossus from the start of the game? No. Colossus is an extraordinarily late game research. And in fact, you have to... So there's something called Ascension perks. So to go a little bit deep, as your culture progresses, it's called Unity, Cultural Unity. You unlock different traditions. And when you fully unlock a tradition, you get an Ascension perk. You only have 8 Ascension perks in the entire game, and you cannot reassign them. And to get a Colossus, you have to dedicate one of your Ascension perks to the Colossus project. So if you were role-playing a peaceful nation, a Federation builder, a diplomat, you would not bother with the Colossus project, because it's only to destroy planets. But of course, I'm role-playing as like an evil... Wendigo, flesh-eating, slave-owning empire. So we have Colossi. Or really you can only have one Colossus, but yeah, we have Colossus, whereas it would make sense for like a Federation builder or something like that not to. Yeah, Colossus is fun. There's a bunch of late game stuff. So the late game stuff would be this. Where is my Juggernaut? This Juggernaut is extraordinarily late game. This is just one ship that's going up against entire fleets by himself. Whatever. And then we have the Mothership, which is a result of a special event that is a late game ship. So this over here is it's actually a Mothership and a Dreadnought inside one another, trying to make Mother Dread babies, I guess. Yeah, let me separate them out. So here's a Dreadnought and the Mothership, and these are like super late game ships that you only get through special events. But because I didn't design these ships, they don't have jump drives. Or actually, the Dreadnought has a jump drive, but it's just not fast. The Mothership here doesn't even have a jump drive. It has like really low tier drive, so it just takes... It's an unbelievably strong ship that just takes too long. It's a tortoise. It's a slow tortoise. But yeah, we're definitely like super late game at this point. And I'm honestly relatively surprised we haven't triggered. So there's concepts in this game called the mid game crisis and the end game crisis. And the mid-game crisis is supposed to be a significant event where it threatens a percentage of the world, but not all of it. It's not like the apocalypse or whatever. It's just dangerous. And then the end-game crisis is like, if you do not prepare properly for the end-game crisis, you're done, you're boned, you're dead. And I am massively dominating the entire universe, but I haven't triggered any of the crises, which is very strange. I would have thought by now that I would have triggered the crises, but it also depends on the settings I have, because some of the game settings will say, oh, you won't get a crisis before like X or Y date. So that might be the case too, because I actually forget what date I set. Temp, thanks for the follow. right, so here's my Colossi, and it's going to repair at, oh my god, there's so many worlds to blow up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh, that's gonna take like a year. All right, fine, whatever. I'm gonna repair my Colossus first, because it basically it almost got destroyed. I got there really only in the nick of time. You did get the Grand Con? Did I? Did I just destroy the con so fast I put it out of my mind and forgot about it? You're right. I did get the Grand Con. I vaguely remember that. And I just poofed them into nothing. Like, overnight. Yes, you were right. It's what we do. Alright, so if you take a look, yes, the red here, so all the red remaining up here is all populated worlds that I need to depopulate first. There is stuff for me to conquer over here. Quick, Ultron, you know, those systems. I'm gonna park my Juggernaut here just to make sure that they can't recapture any of this. Yeah, that's definitely what I want to do. I don't know what this... I'm blowing up the science ship. Doesn't really even have a purpose anymore. It doesn't kill the scientist, it just puts them back into, like, the pool that can be hired out. I also sort of forgot to do the Science Nexus Lab, so let's do that. I'm setting up the Nexus Lab now. And if we take a look at the Hatback world, all of these are going to be super frozen worlds now. Barren frozen, because well, the sun's in there, and no sunlight gets out, so all these planets are now, like, destroyed. Which is kind of funny. As you can see, they're all just, like, frozen wastelands. Because I ate the sun. Alright. My Colossus is now done, so I'm going to get back to Kraken. Where it honestly looks like it's docking. But technically cracking, so that works for me. What is going on here? Oh, this is a weird map mode. Okay, you continue conquering. How do you depopulate a world? So there's a bunch of different ways to invade worlds. Some include involving armies and invasions, and then some including super weapons. So if I didn't have a Colossus, the traditional way to depopulate a world would be to conquer it with armies. That is, I would say, the accepted way to depopulate worlds. But I'm not really doing that because I don't want to conquer anyone. I just want them wiped off out of the galaxy entirely. So normally you would have armies, and here are my armies right here. I could show them to you. So armies are just like little ships that are totally defenseless against other navy. And all they do is they have troops that you invade worlds, and then you have a world versus world fight. So I'll show you what a world might look like. If I take a look at Izek. At Viral Tracker here, they have no armies on the surface. So okay, here's a better example. At this world here, they have a garrison of 464 troops. Here they are, and they get a defensive advantage unless you devastate the world. So normally, in most of the game, what you would do is you would park your navy over the world and bombard it from space to weaken it up. And then once it's weakened up, you would send troops in to invade it, and then you would occupy it. And then once you occupy it, you could choose to purge the population through extermination campaigns. You could turn them into food. You could expel them as refugees. There's a bunch of different options about how to get rid of people that are on a planet that you don't want. And it's basically up to your policies. So there's a policy tab right here. If you take a look at the policy tab, and you scroll down to purge, Purging is just straight killing them off. If you it is required for you to have a certain types of ethics in your empire to be able to purge things. So, for instance, if you're a pacifist or egalitarian or something like that, you're not going to be able to just purge people out. And then, if you take a look at the species here, you could set rights here, and there is a whole bunch of different, like, so this is my slave population. These are just the slaves to my Ascended Wendigo. My Ascended Wendigo are my primary species, and they're served by a slave species. If I conquered another world, I could choose the type of purge or slave, because there's different types of slavery. There is treating them as livestock, treating them as indentured servitude. So indentured servitude gives the slaves more political power and lowers their happiness to minus 20%. The chattel slavery that I use makes them more productive as workers, but makes them even unhappier. Then there's domestic servitude, which just makes them unhappy, or battle thralls, which makes them do more damage, but makes them unhappy. So there's 5 different types of slavery. Livestock being the least happy, and then like domestic servitude being the most happy, I guess. And then you can also choose what kind of citizenship they want. So right now, I'm treating the Wendigo slaves as slaves. Now, if I selected undesirables, which I could do, but it's not reversible for 10 years. If I selected undesirables, then I would get the choice of what kind of purge I want them to do. So if I did conquer another world, I could go into the policy or in the species tab, select the policies, and then say, all right, if you have any people on this world, here's how we're going to kill them off. We're going to process them into like food, or we're going to displace them, or we're just going to straight up kill them or whatever. Now, the thing is, depending on what you do like that, there are ramifications. So for instance, as I am basically blowing up worlds around the galaxy, nobody likes me. You know, if you take a look at the opinion that people have, crack the world minus 500. It would take 500 years for all of the remaining empires in the galaxy to get over the fact that I blew up a world. It is just that angering. And as you can see, they're all the minimum possible relationship here. Because I've just been, I don't care about them. And as you can see, basically, only my tributes like me. And that's mostly because, you know, they adopt my politics, so they are equally responsible for the atrocities I commit. But yeah, I am. My Wendigos just commit atrocities. That's what they do. But so I hope that explained how to get rid of worlds. So, you know, there's a bunch of different options that you have at your disposal. There is the that's not what I meant to do. There is the traditional invasions, and then if you invade, there's a bunch of different options of how to deal with the population. And then there's just like bombarding the planets until they have no population, but that's very hard to do. It doesn't really work. And then you've also got, you know, the world cracker or Colossus type stuff. Thank you all for watching episode 20 of Stellaris Wendigos, which originally aired live on Twitch. If you'd like to catch live streams of mine, just go to Rhadamant.com for my stream schedule and countdown timer. If you got any feedback for me, let me know in the comments below. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you next episode. Farewell.